Have you ever found yourself in an argument where no matter how logical, how reasonable, even how necessary your words were, the other person just wouldn't listen? They interrupt, they shout, they try to crush you with noise, not with truth. And then you go silent. Not because you were wrong, but because you didn't know how to stand your ground without losing your dignity. Today I'll show you another path. Not the path of shouting, not the path of insults, but the path of wisdom, the path of precision. Picture this. You're facing a boss who imposes his will, or a relative who always thinks they're right, or a manipulator who feeds off your frustration. In those moments, imagine staying calm. Imagine speaking just one sentence, and suddenly the room grows quiet. The other person stops. They look at you differently, and most importantly, they have nothing left to say. That is the power of 7 special responses I will share with you today. Each one is a soft weapon, a sharp blade hidden in composure. It does not wound, but it makes others step back. Response number 5. If you master it, can disarm even the cleverest manipulator. You see, in today's world, many people are mistaken. They think volume is strength. They think dominance is power. They think fear is respect. But that's an illusion of control that fades like smoke. True power isn't about forcing others into silence. It's about clarity. It's about self-mastery. It's about being so steady, so unshaken, that even your silence demands attention. Ask yourself, do you want people to fear your words, or do you want them to stop speaking because they feel the weight of your calm? If you've ever left an argument frustrated, knowing you were right, yet feeling like you lost, this message is for you. Because today is not just about words. It's about a way of living, a mindset, a style of communication rooted in Stoic philosophy. Marcus Aurelius said, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." Seneca taught calm mind brings inner strength. Epictetus reminded us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Stay with me until the end, because what I give you today is not just 7 sentences. It's a strategy, a discipline, a quiet revolution inside you. So from now on, you won't need to win by shouting. You'll win by presence. You'll win by silence. You'll win by strength that no one can take away. If you're ready to reclaim your voice without raising it, like, comment, and subscribe. And together, let's master the power of calm. Answer 1. The way you speak says more about you than it does about me. Have you ever been mocked, sarcasm thrown at you? Laughter meant to cut you down. A tone so sharp it wasn't meant to argue, it was meant to wound. And in that moment, what did you want to do? Fight back, snap at them, throw anger right into their face. But pause, breathe. There is another way. Look them straight in the eye and calmly say, "The way you speak says more about you than it does about me." That is not just a sentence. That is a mirror. You don't need a hammer to smash their contempt. You only need a mirror to reflect it. And when they see themselves in that mirror, when they hear their own disrespect bounce back, they have no place to hide. Picture this. You're sitting in a meeting. Someone throws a sarcastic jab at you in front of everyone. The room goes silent, waiting for your reaction. You could fight back and join their game. Or you could calmly say, "The way you speak says more about you than me." In an instant, the power shifts. They fall silent, And you remain calm, composed, and respected by everyone listening. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." That is the essence of this answer. You don't lower yourself. You don't let poison drag you into the mud. You reflect. And that reflection is powerful enough to silence them. But here's the deeper truth. Every time you choose calm over anger, you are building something rare: emotional independence. You are no longer controlled by words. You are no longer manipulated by provocation. You are free. And in today's world, with toxic conversations on social media, in workplaces, even at the dinner table, this freedom is priceless. You don't have to play their game. You can stand apart. You can be the mirror. You can show them who they really are. And when you do, you don't just change the conversation. You change the way people see you. Not as someone easy to wound, but as someone who commands silence, simply by being calm. If this resonates with you, stay until the end, because this is only the first of 7 powerful responses I'll share. Each one a soft weapon, each one a mirror, each one a step toward freedom. And if you're ready to walk this path, like, comment, and subscribe, because your calm is about to become your strength. Answer 2. I don't need to raise my voice to be right. Have you ever been in an argument where the other person suddenly raised their voice? Where they shouted, leaned in, tried to crush you with volume? How did it feel? Your heart racing, your breath quickening, and deep inside the urge rose to shout back. But pause, because the moment you shout, you've stepped onto their battlefield. And on that battlefield, it's not about truth anymore. It's just a contest of who can scream louder. Instead, take a breath, look them in the eye, and calmly say, I don't need to raise my voice to be right. That sentence is a gentle block, sharp, precise. It cuts through the noise. It shows you don't need volume to prove your point. And more than that, it sends a clear message. My reason is stronger than your shouting. Picture this. In a meeting, a colleague raises their voice trying to dominate. The room is tense. Everyone waits for your reaction. But you don't fall into the trap. You smile lightly. And you say, I don't need to raise my voice to be right. Suddenly, the air shifts. Their effort to dominate collapses, and the entire room begins to listen to you. Epictetus once said, no man is free who cannot control his tongue. That is the spirit of this response. When you remain calm, you're not only controlling your words, you're controlling the whole situation. But here's the truth of our world. Too many believe shouting is power. Too many think fear is respect. Too many confuse dominance with victory. But that is only thunder. Loud, temporary, and soon forgotten. Real power is the calm sky after the storm. Real strength is the lighthouse still steady, unshaken, while waves crash around it. When you say, I don't need to raise my voice to be right, you don't just silence your opponent. You show everyone watching a model of confidence without aggression, because true power doesn't force heads down. It lifts eyes up. It commands respect without ever asking for it. Remember, this shouting may overwhelm for a moment, but calm endures. Calm leads. Calm is heard long after the noise is gone. If this resonates with you, stay with me. because this is only the second of 7 responses I'll share. And if you're ready to discover how calm becomes your strength, like, comment, and subscribe. Your voice doesn't need to be louder. It just needs to be stronger. Answer 3. I don't need to defeat you. I only need not to defeat myself. Have you ever noticed how a small disagreement can suddenly turn into a battle? At first it was about the issue, but soon it's about pride. It's about ego. It's about who wins and who loses. And in those moments, reason disappears. The truth no longer matters, only the scoreboard in our minds. You've been there. I've been there. We all have. The heart pounds. The voice rises. The urge to win takes over. But here is the wisdom. In that moment, you can pause. You can breathe. And you can say, I don't need to defeat you. I only need not to defeat myself. That is not just a sentence. It's a declaration of dignity. Because what good is victory over another if in the process you lose your calm, lose your integrity, lose yourself? Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The greatest victory is to conquer yourself." Think about it. If you win the argument but anger controlled you, ego drove you, and pride poisoned you, did you really win? Picture this. You're in a heated debate with a colleague. Voices rising. The room tense. You could push harder, argue louder, crush them if you can. Or you could say calmly, I don't need to defeat you. I only need not to defeat myself. And instantly, the game changes. The battlefield disappears. Because you've stepped out of their contest. You've chosen a higher ground, the ground of maturity, self-control, and strength. They may look at you in surprise. They may have nothing left to throw. Because how do you fight someone who refuses to play your game? In life, we are taught to win. At school, at work, even at home. But rarely are we taught that sometimes refusing to fight is the greater victory. Because that choice doesn't just end the conflict. It protects your peace. It saves your relationships. It lets you sleep at night without regret, without shame. So remember this. When you must choose between winning the argument or keeping your integrity, choose integrity. Because people may forget the words you spoke, but they will never forget the dignity you held. This is response number 3 of 7 powerful answers. And if you're ready to learn how calm can outlast conflict, like, comment, and subscribe, because the greatest victory is the one within. Answer 4. That's your opinion. I respect it, but I don't agree. Have you noticed the fiercest arguments don't always happen in boardrooms? They happen at the dinner table, with family, with close friends, with the people you see every day. Have you been there? Someone insists you must see the world their way. They persuade, they push, they press harder, not because they're evil, but because they truly believe they are right. And you feel cornered, trapped between silence or endless debate. But there is a third way, a way calm, clear, powerful. Look them in the eye and simply say, that's your opinion. I respect it, but I don't agree. One sentence, but heavier than 100 arguments. Because in those words, you honor their value while protecting your own boundaries. It's like closing a door, not with anger, but with clarity. A gentle shut, yet firm enough to say, this is my space. I will not be pulled away from it. Picture this. A close friend pressures you to change a decision. You could argue point by point, or you could say calmly, "That's your opinion. I respect it, but I don't agree." And just like that, the conflict dissolves, the friendship remains, the respect grows. Seneca once said, "Dependence on the opinion of others is the worst slavery." When you let others dictate your thoughts, you live in a prison without bars. But when you speak this sentence, you declare freedom. You show the world respect is not the same as agreement. I can honor you and still stand as myself. At first, they may not like it. They may push back. But in time, they will respect you. Because you are not easily swayed. You are not manipulated. You are not the echo of the crowd. You are you. And the truth is, our society needs more of that. People who listen, who respect, but who are strong enough to hold their ground. Remember this, you don't have to argue to prove your worth. Sometimes one calm sentence is enough. That's your opinion. I respect it, but I don't agree. This is response number 4 of 7 powerful answers. Stay with me because the next ones will take you even deeper. And if you're ready to learn how calm can silence chaos, like, comment, and subscribe. Because your strength is your voice. Answer 5. Let's talk when we can do it with respect. Have you ever found yourself in a conversation that wasn't really a conversation at all? They call it dialogue, but it feels like an attack. They don't listen. They interrupt. They raise their voice. They try to bury you under their truth. And in those moments, how do you feel? Exhausted, cornered, maybe even asking yourself, do I really have to keep talking? The answer is no, you don't. And you can say that firmly, calmly, with one simple sentence. Let's talk when we can do it with respect. This is not avoidance. It is a declaration of boundaries. You're not running away. You're not afraid. You're simply setting a minimum rule. Without respect, there is no dialogue. Picture this. Someone keeps cutting you off. They won't let you finish a thought. They dominate. They attack. Instead of shouting back, you pause. You breathe. You look at them and say, let's talk when we can do it with respect. In that instant, the axis of the conversation shifts. It's no longer about who's right or wrong. It's about the condition for any meaningful exchange. Epictetus once said, you cannot control others. You can only control what you are willing to accept. This sentence embodies that truth. You're not trying to change them. You're declaring your boundary. I will not accept a conversation without respect. And here's the power. You don't need anger. You don't need long explanations. Just the boundary. And that boundary is strong enough to make them stop or to lose the privilege of speaking with you at all. Because the moment you say this, you step out of their toxic game. You are no longer reacting. You are leading. And the message you send is loud and clear. I know my worth. I will not spend my peace on a conversation that dishonors my dignity. In that moment, you are no longer the one being dragged. You are the one holding the wheel. You are the one steering the course. This is response number 5 of 7. Stay with me because the next answers go even deeper. And if you're ready to reclaim your peace and your power, like, comment, and subscribe. Because real conversations begin with respect. Answer 6. I choose calm because my emotions are my responsibility. Be honest with yourself. Have you ever been provoked? A sly remark, a mocking smile, a tiny gesture, yet it feels like a challenge, and suddenly your heart burns, your body tenses, your mind screams, react, right now. But in that split second, you have another choice, a higher choice. The choice not to be a victim of your emotions. Say this: I choose calm, because my emotions are my responsibility. Simple words, but a power greater than fire. Because in that moment, you declare, I do not hand the steering wheel of my emotions to anyone else. They can shout, they can mock, they can press. But in the end, your reaction belongs to you. The Stoics knew this truth thousands of years ago. Epictetus said, no one can make you angry unless you allow it. And the older you grow, the truer this becomes. Picture this: at work, a colleague makes a sarcastic remark in front of everyone. The room falls silent. They expect you to explode, but you don't. You smile, you breathe, and inside you remind yourself, I choose calm, because my emotions are my responsibility. In that instant, their plan crumbles, because what they wanted was your anger, but what they faced was your calm, and calm is unstoppable. Calm is not weakness. Calm is strength. Calm is freedom. It's the declaration, I am not a puppet pulled by your strings. I am the master of myself. And something extraordinary happens. When you master your emotions, you not only protect your peace, you inspire others. They look at you and wonder, how can she stay so calm? And in that moment, you own the room. Not with volume, but with presence. This is not just useful in arguments. It matters everywhere. In families when tension rises, at work under pressure, in society when provoked by chaos you cannot control. Remember this: others can act, others can provoke, but only you decide how to respond. And when you choose calm, you choose freedom. I choose calm because my emotions are my responsibility. That is not just a response, it is a philosophy of life. This is response number 6 of 7. Stay with me because the final answer may be the most powerful of all. And if you're ready to claim your freedom, like, comment, and subscribe, because calm is not silence. Calm is strength. Answer 7. I don't want to continue this conversation. Some conversations are no longer conversations. They're not about sharing ideas. They're not about seeking truth. They're just a toxic spiral, two voices clashing, neither listening, both trying to crush the other. Have you been there? You speak, they don't hear. You explain, they cut you off. You fall silent, and still they attack. And with every passing minute, your energy drains. Your peace is stolen. That is the moment to say firmly, calmly, clearly, I don't want to continue this conversation. 6 words, but 6 words strong enough to end all manipulation. It's not an excuse. It's not an apology. It's a declaration of self-control. I have the right to stop. I have the right to choose peace over the trap of endless debate. Picture this. You've been arguing for hours. Every argument exhausted. Nothing changes except the rising tension. At that moment, you don't need to shout. You don't need more evidence. You just breathe and say, I don't want to continue this conversation. And instantly, you take back control. You step out of the spiral. You reclaim your peace. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, choose not to be harmed and you won't feel harmed. That's exactly what this answer is. By choosing to end it, You refuse to give them the power to hurt you. You are not escaping. You are rising above. Many believe that ending a conversation is weakness. The truth, it takes more strength to walk away than to stay trapped in a fight that goes nowhere. Closing a door may feel uncomfortable at first, but sometimes closing that door is the bravest act of all. Because only when one door shuts, another can open to clarity, to calm, to freedom. Remember this. You have no obligation to keep talking just because someone else demands it. You don't have to stay in a toxic space just to prove you're strong. Real strength is knowing when to leave. And these words, I don't want to continue this conversation, will always be the key to freedom, the key to dignity. This is response number 7, the final piece of 7 powerful answers. If you've stayed with me through this journey, you now hold tools that can transform every dialogue of your life. So if you're ready to step into calm power, like, comment, and subscribe, because your dignity deserves nothing less. So here we are. 7 answers. 7 phrases that look simple, but carry the power to transform an entire conversation. Let's recall them together. I don't need to raise my voice to be right. The way you speak says more about you than me. Let's talk when we can do it with respect. I don't want to continue this conversation. That's your opinion. I respect it, but I don't agree. I choose calm because my emotions are my responsibility. I don't need to defeat you. I only need not to defeat myself. 7 answers, 7 keys, 7 doors that lead you out of the spiral of conflict and into the space of dignity, self-mastery, and inner strength. These are not weapons to crush others, not tricks to show arrogance. They are shields protecting your peace from being dragged down to the lowest level of anger or hostility. Think about it. In a world where everyone wants to speak louder, the one who speaks with calm and confidence is the one who gets heard the longest. You don't need to shout to prove you're right. You don't need to surrender to be liked. You don't need to strike back to feel powerful. What you need is clarity. What you need is self-control. What you need is character. Because real power doesn't come from forcing silence. It comes from making others choose to listen. Marcus Aurelius once reminded us, the strength of a man lies in his control of his own mind. And every phrase you've learned today is proof of that wisdom. When you use these answers at work, at home, in your relationships, something changes. People begin to act differently around you. They pause before they speak. They respect you not because you demanded it, but because they felt it. So ask yourself, do you want to be remembered as someone easily provoked, easily manipulated, or as someone whose presence commands attention, whose calm words create silence and respect? The choice is yours, and it begins today. 7 answers, 7 lessons, 7 paths to live stronger, freer, and more respected. Because respect is never born from dominance. Respect is born from character. If this journey resonated with you, don't let it end here. Like this video, comment with the phrase that spoke to you most, and subscribe so we can continue walking together on the path of calm strength. Because the world doesn't need more noise. The world needs your presence.